Okay. Hey everybody, it's Matt from Britical Saiyans here, and today I'm going to show you my cooler mill deck. So, the less annoying Janemba, I suppose. So, cooler on his awakened side is when he takes a leader card, you can draw a card. So, obviously you've got to keep doing that if you want to draw cards. And then his first auto after that, second auto then, is when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased by, your opponent places a top card of the deck in a drop area. So decreased by extra cards, battle cards, whatever, they just mill one. But his third auto, so many autos, once per turn, if it's your opponent's turn, when the power of one of their battle cards is decreased by a skill of one of your battle cards, you get to draw a card. And his awakening is a 1/1. So you untap an energy and draw one card. Now, on this side, he has his 3 autos again. So, his first auto is when he attacks, he just draws a card. His second auto is when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent places top cards in their drop area. So, his first 2 autos are basically the same. Apart from it is. Both his autos are exactly the same. Apart from, obviously, this one, he can attack anything to draw a card. And then his third auto, once per turn again, is when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased by a skill of one of your battle cards, you draw one card. So, but that's during either player's turn, because this one's during your opponent's turn. This is during either player's turn. So, that's the difference on his awakening. So, first up is the extra cards, which we got quite a few of. So to start off with, the negates I've chosen to go with is the after image technique, and is that all you've got? So gone with these two because they're both minusing power based, which is what you want to do because you mill, doesn't matter with battle card or extra card. So, is that all you've got? Is you negate your attack, you can pitch a red card, and you can choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and minus them by 15k. It doesn't ignore barrier, which is a downside, but, you know, that's the case. After image technique is the sparking one. So you can take a life for this if you've got 5 cards in your drop area, or you can just pay the 1 red. So you choose up to 1 of your cards, and it gains 40k power. And then you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 10k. So that triggers that effect of the milling. So those are my negates. I've then decided to go with the 2 copies of Frieza's Death Ball. So this is one of the new attack rare cards that was introduced in set 9. So activate battle. You choose up to 1 of your leader cards and gains 15k battle for the duration. 15k power for the duration of battle. Its auto is then, if all your energy is red, when you activate this card, you choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, and it gets minus 10k for that battle. I love the fact that it's leader and battle card, but because cool and needs you to target battle cards, you generally target a battle card unless you're probably going for end game on that attack if they haven't negated, in which case you'd minus their leader then. So you have that as an option. Then I've got 2 copies of Your Mine. So you pay the 1 red is a counterplay. So when the battle card is played, so they play a battle card, you play this in the counterplay. You choose up to 2 of their battle cards and they get minus 5k, which then will trigger Cooler twice because the mill part doesn't say once per turn. So if a card's power gets decreased, well, if 2 cards' battle cards get decreased, it triggers more than the once. It's just the drawing that's once per turn, because that'd be nuts. And then we got 3 copies of Senzu Bean. So, always the Senzu Bean if you're using blue. Just in case you're not aware of what this does, is you pay the 1 blue, activate battle, you choose up to 1 of your cards, it gains 5k, and you get 2 energy back, so you get the 1 you paid and something else. This card's not going anywhere until it gets limited or banned, basically. Because no, even a 1 I don't think it'll be used, really, because it's like one of those.
Trunks was used.
True. Okay, banned.
Yeah.
And then I got 2 copies of Two Denial of Hope. Because the leader's red, you can use this. So you pay the 2 reds, and then if the battle card your opponent is playing, if it has 20k power or less, it's placed in a drop area instead of being played. Yes, you'd rather be letting things come into play and minusing their power, but in some situations you just do not want that card in play. So that's why I decided to go with 2 Denial of Hope. And then I run 2 copies of Cease to Exist. So this is one of those new ones that every colour has, where it has the same permanent of its activate battle you can play for its without its energy cost, which just gives choose up to your leader cards or battle cards and gets 5k, so it's a 5k combo for free basically. But they all have a different activate main. So this one is, if your leader card is red, you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and you get minus 25k. Ignoring barrier, absolutely fantastic, I love it. I might actually have to bump this up, but we'll see how it goes. I like it as a 2-off. And then I run 1 Gallic Cannon. This is literally just because I pulled it from the draft box. That is the only reason why I have 1. So it's a counterplay. When a battle card is played, you choose up to 1 of your one of those battle cards, and it gets minus 15k for the duration of turn. So when your opponent plays something, you can then play this and target the card that's being played, or target one that's already out and play it minus by 15, which then again, of course, triggers Cooler. And then, because we're a red-blue deck, I can get away with running Emperor's Death Beam. So it costs 3, it's energy source. Activate main / battle, which makes it fantastic. So you can just go, oh, okay, I'll just pay 3 during your turn, because we don't have Invoker, so it will cost a 3. You choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and he gets minus 13k, well, 30k, bleh, 30k power. So generally it'll kill most things that are going to be coming at you, which is why it ignores barrier, which is absolutely great. It then has an activate main where you can send it from your drop area to your warp. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and add a multi-card extra card, and then you put the rest back on top of your deck in any order. So if you don't have another one of these, then it's just like, okay, well, I just look at the top 3 cards of my deck. But because I've only got the 1, it's literally just there as I get to kill something. So obviously I could change that around, and honestly, anything you guys want to do, if you want to bump this up, just do it, go for it. This is just an idea. So for the battle cards now, so we've gone with, and these are all the 1 costs. So we got 3 Borgos. So the Borgos, if anybody's forgotten, so it's when you play it, you get to draw a card. Auto once per turn. During your opponent's turn, if they switch an energy to active mode with a non-awaken skill, you get to pop an energy. Obviously they've all got this now, like every colour's got one. Apart from black, they used a cunning one. So I like having this in here because it's a blue, so it helps the rival. And obviously because the TN's gone, these type of cards are the only things that you can work now. And then I got 3 copies of Intensifying Power Trunks. This is in here so I can self-awaken, because I feel like some decks might want to try and keep you on your unawakened side. And that's like, it's good, it's fine, but it's one of those really. I like to try and get on my unawakened side to get more out of it, I guess, being a 15k and being able to attack anything and draw a card and so on and so forth. But Trunks, you just swing with it, you can take life against 10k and crit. It's a little self-awakener. So onto the 2 costs. So I'm going to do the super combos first. I run 2 copies of the Beerus. So it has no restriction on when you can play this, because it's not based on life or anything like that. It's just a straight up super combo 10k. But if your leader card is red or blue, if it's your opponent's turn when you combo with this card, you get to get an energy back. It just says choose up to 1 of your red/blue multicolour energy. So it's restrictive on what energy you get back, but that's fine. And then I've gone for the Sparking Negate of Master Roshi. So you got the 5 cards on the drop you get to draw, otherwise it's just a 10k. And then the other 2 costs of the deck is just my 4 copies of the, as everybody's calling them, the check lands, because everybody's played Magic, so just doing it that way. But it's a non-energy exhaust guy. And then his auto of when this card attacks, you choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards and get minus 5k. So playing this out for the 2 is in no way a downside to you. So just remember that. Doesn't have to just be charged all the time. That was just me. So on to the 4 costs. Right, I've decided to run a Janemba line for the deck. So I've gone with 4 copies of the Demon Sword. This is just to help the mill aspect of the deck, really. And also why I've decided to go for Demon Sword is because of the spot removal that he can do. So if nothing's got barrier, he's got no restriction on what he can remove. So that's kind of why he's there. So he's got critical and deflect, activate main, you place it at the bottom of your deck, you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, it goes to the warp and your opponent mills 2. And then I run 3 copies of Reality Bender, and that is literally it for my Janemba line. It helps the blue for arrival, and it's just, why not? It's good. So Reality Bender has crit deflect, permanent. If your opponent has 4 more energy and there are no battle cards in your battle area, but your opponent does have a battle card, he costs 1 energy instead. And then he has an auto of at the end of turn, he just goes to the bottom of your deck and your opponent mills 2. So, nice little Janemba line. And then I run 3 copies of the Freezer no introductions. Yeah, I will read that right. So, it's a 4-drop, 1 red, but you use it for its counter attack. So you negate the attack and you play this card. But its permanent is it gets reduced by 2, so it's a 2-cost negate. And then its activate main is you pay 2 red and a blue. You choose up to 1 red or blue freezer card in your hand with an energy cost of 5 and play it on top of this card. So you negate an attack, and then next turn you can just bring out your 5-drop freezer from the red blue one, or you just choose the yeah, you can choose red or blue. Yeah, so you could do the Cobalt Lust one, but it doesn't work for this leader because it's Freezer Clan, not Freezer's Army. So do bear that in mind. Generally you will just go into the one from the set. And then to top it off, I got 2 copies of Topo Righteous Aid. So this is the last of the 4 costs of the deck. I have 2 from the draft box, so I'm using them. So it's counterattack. You choose one other card in your hand and place it in your drop area. So you can discard any card you want. It's not restricted. Like the is that all you've got? Where you have to discard a red card, and then you play this card and your attack's been negated. But then he has a permanent of, it's your opponent's turn, his energy cost is reduced by 2. So it's a 2-cost negate where you can discard one to do it, which is good. And if it's your opponent's turn, when you play this card, for the duration of the turn, your opponent must discard 2 cards in order to attack. So if they've only got 1 card in their hand, or like, well, if they've got 2 cards in hand, they have to discard those 2 cards in order to attack. If they've got 1 card in their hand, they can't attack because they have to discard the 2. So it's a very good defensive card, obviously. And then onto the 5 costs. I've got 3 copies of the Arrival Cooler and 3 copies of the Full Power Freezer. I've only got 3 copies of the Full Power Freezer. I do have 4 copies of the Cooler, but I've decided just to keep with the 3. Really should bump it up to 4, but I don't know. We'll look into it. I've got a pretty SPR one as well. So Cooler, I can't even try to read the next bit. I'll say Assault. So he has Double Strike. Jonas is leaning over to have a look. So he's Double Strike, Arrival for red blue with 1 red. So this card is just amazing just for that effect. Just having a Arrival, 1 red, Double Striker is just fantastic. He then has an auto of when you play this card, your opponent places the top card of their deck in the drop area. Then you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and you get minus 10k power for the duration of turn. So even any red-blue deck, it doesn't matter. You should probably use this guy just because of the fact that it's a 1 cost Double striker and minus and stuff is never a bad side. And then the freezer, sorry, is triple strike, opposites energy exhaust, same with the cooler. Auto of when this card attacks, you choose all of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and you get minus 30k for the duration of a turn. So generally you're going to kill anything they have out, unless you've got a secret out and you survive their secret turn. Then, then you're fine. And then auto of when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent places the top 2 cards of their deck in the drop area. So say if they got 4 things out, you minus them all. That's a lot of milling.
So 8 from freezer and then
8 from freezer and then
4.
4 from cooler. The card's nuts. And then for the last card of my builds for this, I've got 1 copy of Super Saiyan Vegeta Exploiting Weakness. I got this off a trade off a mate, so I'm using it. So it's also very good for this deck. So it's counterplay, you play it, its permanent is reduced by 2, so it comes a 3 cost instead of a 5 cost. And then when you play this card, you choose all of your... Is it during the opponent's turn? It's going to option. You reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. No? Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's still fine. You can do it as a free cost during your turn then. If I've misread, then that's fine. Can I've misread. So auto, when you play this card, you choose all of your opponent's battle cards, and for the duration of the turn you get minus 20k power, and for the duration of the turn your leader card gains 5k, which I completely forgot about in the game. Oopsie. So obviously minusing things by 20k will trigger cooler multiple times because you're decreasing power. Hopefully you can kill majority of their board. But also bear in mind you can just also do it during your turn, just a board wipe and trigger cooler if you really wanted to. But I can't believe I forgot about the 5k part. Oopsie! Oh well, live and learn. So there you go guys, that is my cooler mill variant. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. So bye bye.